Welcome to the webinar with BookBaby and myself, Janna Lopez. And I'll tell you more about me and more about BookBaby, but I appreciate you spending your afternoon with us, with me, with each other. And what we're here to talk about is, if not now, when? 6 reasons to establish your why and write your book. And so nearly 900 of you said yes. So nearly 900 of you have some interest in, or some curiosity about, or some desire to figure out how to connect to that place within you that your book is waiting for you. Some of you are on the front end of your journey, meaning maybe you've thought about writing a book and you haven't yet written a book. And getting started is important to you. Awesome. Perfect. Some of you are halfway through your books and maybe have lost the path or the purpose, and you're trying to get re-engaged. One of the things that I know for sure, because I work with hundreds of people in my writing retreat business, is the people in the middle, maybe they started writing their books 10 years ago, 5 years ago, or even a year ago. I have one woman who came to me who started writing her book 42 years ago. True story. Maybe some of you are just almost near that finish line and just want somebody to offer some pom-poms and clarity to help you sew it up and just bring it on home, which is great. Wherever you are is where you are. And I believe that writing is an ongoing conversation that we have with ourselves. And so with that frame of reference, we can step in or step out of these conversations at any time. And so we're never late, we're never behind, we're never not fulfilling what we need to fulfill. And somehow it brings the feeling of connection and clarity and continuity a little bit closer and more within reach. So today, I am going to offer tips and ideas and words and inspiration to help you get clarity around your purpose. And what are the reasons why we don't have that clarity for the purpose? We're going to talk about those. So how we're going to do this today, how the webinar is going to go, is I'm going to tell you a little bit about me and why I'm here. We're going to talk about the 6 reasons why not to put off writing your book. We're going to share insight about purpose, how to find it. I'm going to introduce you to Andre Khalil-Ohana, who is with BookBaby. And then I'm going to offer ways to stay in touch if you choose, and to stay engaged with me and with BookBaby if you choose. If not, totally fine. And at the end, as I was saying, I'm going to open up the chat again and take some questions, listen to feedback, and get your comments. And if I don't get to those questions, no worries. I'm going to print out the text chat and make sure that I get back to each and every person. So, who am I? Who is Janna Lopez in the world? Such a question that I spend my life pondering. I'm sure we all wonder who we are in the world. But one thing I do know is I am a writing retreat guide and host in Santa Fe, New Mexico. People come to work with me from all over the country to get clear, to find direction, to get out of their heads and actually get on a path towards writing a book, finishing a book, or just finding, not everybody who writes wants to do a book too. I'm going to say that some of us just write and we enjoy writing, and that's okay too. The book isn't the only point of writing. So, but people come to me to get clarity and to find their way. And I use psychic intuition to help them. I use experience, I use education. I have an MFA in creative writing. And my whole purpose really is about helping you get clear, confident, and connected. Because I've written a few books. I've been super stuck. It took me 4 years to finish my first book, which I did publish through BookBaby. And this one took me 4 years, and it was based on this book and the learning from this book that I really came to discover why I struggled and what I needed to keep moving forward. And so I published this book through BookBaby, and that's how I began my relationship with BookBaby. So I'm a customer, I'm a fan, and I also contribute to their blog on a regular basis. The last thing I'm going to tell you about me, which I think is kind of cool, is I am currently Santa Fe's Poet Laureate. So that puts me out in the community and out into the world, teaching people about how to be less afraid and more available and open to their deepest expression through poetry. So there you go. I've done a lot of things, and I truly care, really care about why people struggle. And I really care about making sure people like you, like myself, can put that in the rearview mirror so you can realize one of your greatest dreams and your biggest accomplishments that you will ever fulfill by finishing a book and writing a book. It's my passion, and I can't tell you how many people I've helped and how exciting it is. It's always new and it never gets old. So that also means I've seen why people struggle, why they flounder, the difference between people who finish and the people who don't. And so that's what we're going to start with, is talking about the reasons why not to put off your book, but the reasons people do put off their book. And then we're going to talk about finding that purpose and how to get that purpose. And so take some notes if you want, jot some things down, reach out if you have questions, and we will see where this goes. I'm so glad you're here. You took the first step just by showing up. And that's really what it takes, is just showing up. So reason number one, as human beings, we always think we'll have more time. So I'm going to say that again. As human beings, we believe, we always think we're going to have more time. And the truth is, we want more time. And the truth is, we don't get more time. This is it. This span of time that you've got from beginning to end is really it. So I find this, the number one thing people tell me they struggle with is they don't have time to write. And what got me started on wanting to do this webinar actually is a real true story. I had a friend, her name is Rachel, and she came to a webinar, to a retreat, to a writing retreat. She had found me through webinars, and I've been friends with her for years. And she came to me and I was helping her write her book. She really wanted to leave this book for her kids, her legacy, her wisdom, and she had passion for writing her book. So she came to a couple of retreats, and in August of this year, she died. And it was sudden, and it was really sad. I took it very hard because I felt like all of that regret and guilt of how her words died with her. And I'm not trying to be melodramatic. It's just that I had worked with her, and so I knew how much it meant to her. And also, Jim Gossett might be on this webinar. He was somebody who found me from the last webinar, and he came to a retreat, and he was so brave and so courageous, and recently had to have his second open heart surgery. And so I was so glad that we had had that time to connect and talk. And he felt so accomplished and free and proud of himself for having overcome the fear of wanting to write a book and thinking about writing a book. And the first webinar was January. And by June, he actually came here for a retreat. So And I'm going to ask if you have questions and stuff, not to raise your hand, because it is a little bit distracting. And I promise you, I will just put them aside. And at the end of this, I'll be able to ask questions or answer questions that you're asking. So anyway, the people believe they have more time. We don't have more time. Now is the time. And so it's all about how to make time. And so speaking of time, reason number 2, reason put off writing a book or finishing a book or starting a book, is because the longer time passes, the harder it is to come back to your process. Momentum is everything. And so I think I'm going to share right now. Actually, you know what? I can't share the screen. So reason number 2 is the longer time passes, the harder it is to come back to your words, to your thoughts, to your ideas. We think we'll remember, and we lose the momentum and connection to the work. Reason number 3, why we don't, is procrastination yields self-judgment and doubt. The passage of time festers negative talk, which hinders. And have you ever felt like the more you want to write, the more you don't write, the more you don't write, the less you're able to write? Like, it's this vicious circle that we put ourselves through, and it becomes a circular motion and like a wheel of where the more we want to write, the more we desperately hope to write, and the less that we write, the less incentivized we are to actually write. And so that procrastination creates that crack of where all of those thoughts, all of the words, I should be writing, why am I not writing? I haven't been writing, I really want to write. And then it becomes the thing that you can go into self-blame and self-doubt about. In your mind, my mind, in the mind, everybody else has the secret sauce. Everybody else has the secret handshake to avoid procrastination. Everybody else knows how to get out of those traps that we find ourselves in. But it's interesting that really every writer I've worked with, and including myself, we've all felt that way or feel that way at one time or another. And that procrastination does nothing to really help, or the self-doubt does nothing to really help fuel the creativity and the inspiration that you have, or that you had but don't allow because of all the negative self-talk. So that leads to reason number 4. Trust me when I say this, and this is from personal experience and from working with a lot of people. The process doesn't get easier or necessarily change by shoveling your project or your writing into some projected time in the future. It's like, oh, well, maybe Tuesday I'll be able to understand why I haven't figured out this character's motivation, or maybe next month I will come back to that part of the memoir where I really struggled. So what I want to share with you about that is whatever content, concept, or context elements that you're grappling with now, or that have you snagged, chances are they're still going to exist the week later, the month later, the 2 months later. So trying to figure out how to have a conversation with those things that you're stuck with, trying to untangle the knot, trying to understand what it is that's keeping you stuck, at least opening up that part of the conversation about why you're stuck or feeling trapped will create some breathing room. It can create some breathing room. And so I definitely understand that. But I remember I would sit there when I was working on my book, and I talked about writing a book for, I don't know, 2 years or something. And the more I talked about writing a book and the less I actually wrote the book, the worse I felt about talking about writing a book. And I think for me, I can only speak to myself. I would tell people that I was writing a book thinking that would help me and get me motivated from the procrastination, but it actually didn't help. It didn't help at all. It kind of made things worse. But I guess what I want you to at least see for yourself is if you're stuck with something, try to figure out why. At least start with that part of the conversation. Reason number 5. It's likely that the idea of writing a book or finishing a book gnaws at you. And that's just what I was referring to when I was talking about writing a book and telling people I was writing a book. The idea of it took up so much mental space and energy. And I think about all of that mental space and energy. And I mean, I kind of laugh about it, but it's actually pretty painful and it's stressful. And it felt like for me, like a pressing weight on my chest of the expectation. I had it every day, wanting to do it, being unable to do it. And those things created some serious mental friction, which took up a lot of mental space and energy. And I just think once I started to get past that through how I learned to get past that and what I now teach in helping other people get past that, once I was able to figure out the bypass, and it takes time. I want you to know that if you could have figured it out by now, you would have. Listen, we try when it comes to our creativity and expression, the last thing you need to feel is hard on yourself for feeling stuck or unsure how to move forward. And it takes time, and it takes kindness to yourself, and it takes relearning and unlearning some of the very critical things that we've been taught about how to approach writing. Now, I know I am not everybody's teacher. My style and my method is not for everybody, and that's totally okay. But for the people that it's been for, my success in helping people has come from helping them unlearn what they've learned about writing so they could actually write. And then once we start to funnel some new ideas, new relationships with what writing is, new relationships with your idea about writing, new relationships about your process with writing, that's when things start to shift. And that's how it shifted for me. So the first thing I talk to people about is that writing is an invitation, not an expectation. So I'll say that again. If you imagine writing as an invitation, you can invite yourself into the process, invite yourself into this conversation with yourself and your creativity and your expression. It just takes the air like, whew, it opens things up. Part of the reasons why we get so stuck is because there's such heavy expectations about what it's supposed to do, who it's supposed to be for, how it's supposed to look, what it's supposed to bring, how many books it's supposed to sell. And with all of that, I just want to take a nap. So just giving yourself some room to understand that if this idea of finishing the book is gnawing at you, that's something. Why? Why does it gnaw at you? And so reason number 6 that people get stuck or have put off or have been unable to move forward with finishing a book is that sometimes, and I know this sounds maybe a little trite, but it's really true. And with the people that I work with, is recognizing fully that you and your creativity are worth seeing through. Your vision is worth seeing through. Nobody sees the world the way you do. Nobody puts together words the way you do. Nobody has the wisdom and insight that you have, or your experiences, all the things you've done in your life that have led to this moment of wanting to put it into some body of work for recognition and acknowledgement. And so, like everything, we always tell ourselves we'll do it later, but you know, that really just shows up as putting yourself last. And we do that because we have kids, we do that because we have jobs, we do that because we have fear, we do that because we have too many expectations on us. And so if we are so used to putting ourselves last in so many ways, I would say let the progress of your book, let the completion of your book be that declaration of self-love and self-designation. And people talk about self-love all the time, and that's a whole other webinar. But the truth is, when I'm in my place of writing and I'm really connected and I've got that freedom, and I see other people that I work with come so stuck and have such big dreams and just really unable to move forward. But when they get in the flow and when they start making progress and these discoveries start coming up about who they are and why they're writing and why they care about the writing, and then to have them hold up their books in their hands and invite me to their launch parties to acknowledge me in their book credits. I mean, all of that feels like, so I have so much pride that they took the moment and the time day by day just to show themselves that self-love and self-designation. So if you put that against the context of more time, wanting more time and putting yourself last, that's something to think about. I really think that's important. So now let's get to purpose. Let's get to how to connect you to purpose and how to establish your why you're doing this, why you're interested in starting a book, why you're trudging through the middle parts of a book, or why you really just want to finish. Maybe you're working on another book. I don't know where you are, but no matter what, the why is the purpose. So I'm just going to ask, and I'm going to ask you to take a moment, and if you want, just to write this down, but have you really reflected on your reasons for wanting to write a book? And I'll ask that again. Have you reflected on your reasons for wanting to write a book? Now, here's where I might diverge a little bit from a lot of the people out there who teach what I teach, who talk about what I talk about, and where I'm a little off the train tracks. I really believe that reasons are different than purpose. The reasons that we have for wanting to write a book are different than the purpose for wanting to write a book. Now, to me, there is a very fundamental difference. And this is what I hope you leave with and what I want to share with you. To me, reasons are the logical justifications for why we do what we do. They are mainly outcome driven. And for example, I may say my reasons for wanting to write a book is I want to write a bestseller. I want to have notoriety, or maybe I'm using it for my business, which is all fine. Those are all perfectly fine things, to have as reasons for wanting to start writing or finish a book. Nothing wrong with the reasons. But what I want to tell you is that in my mind, reasons project the expectation. And this, believe it or not, becomes the lead balloon that stops people from actually writing. So if the pressure of having to have the New York Times bestseller comes out, or you need to sell 100 copies, or you're doing it for some projected outcome or reason, then you have put that expectation out in front of you. And that becomes the thing that weighs us down and could stop us. I can't tell you how many people come to me and they're so happy to explain their reasons for why they want to write a book. And I'm really a judgment-free zone, no judgment here. But I want to say that 90% of the time, at least, the reasons they want to write the book are the things that keep them stuck from actually writing the book. The weight becomes overwhelming and pressing. And so I'm hoping that lands and that resonates with you. And if not, you can jot down the idea of reasons versus purpose and contemplate it for yourself and see what comes up. I will explain purpose now. But just as a segue from all the things that we tell ourselves about the reasons why we can't, not having enough time, and the procrastination and the reasons that I listed above, you can start to see how these things become subtle layers. And each layer starts to build on the ways that we stop ourselves from connecting and from being inspired and from being able to breathe and be in a conversation with our work and find freedom in our expression. Because all these layers over time, day after day, week after week, teacher after teacher, red pen after red pen, critique after critique, expectation after expectation, it takes out all of the joy and authentic connection and fun and discovery and expression that comes from those places when we're really just creating. And I feel like we get too bogged down by what we're supposed to be creating or the reasons why we're supposed to be writing. And I love the joy that comes from writing with freedom. And it's taken me a long time, but I'm pretty much there most of the time. And now I'm not saying I never don't get stuck and I don't ever doubt and I don't ever struggle, but I love writing. And I love it because of what writing provides me, the conversation that I have with myself, what I can discover, how interesting it can become. And it's all the same, whether I'm writing fiction, if I'm writing memoir, if I'm writing blog articles for BookBaby. I love what comes up in the discovery process. And I learn all the time. And it makes me so sad. And it truly breaks my heart that writing has become this thing separate from us, the thing out there that we will do someday. The separation between our own expression and the process is like Zimbabwe and Switzerland. They're so different in their internalized process. So that's where purpose comes in. That is exactly where purpose comes in. Reason is out there someday, expectation, weight, no joy, overwhelming. Over here, purpose, expression, freedom, connection, clarity, confidence, all the things that I know each and every one of you is completely capable of, has probably felt at some point in your life. Maybe you feel it now, but my hope and my wish for each and every one of you is that you find a way to integrate that and converse with that and engage with that type of free expression in your writing, so you can gift the world what it is that you have to bring and what it is you have to share. So purpose, in my world, my view, my perspective, comes from that place deep within us that is clear and connected as a through line. It becomes a through line. Nothing hinders continuity. It's the element that is part of us, not separate or outside of us. And purpose, I acknowledge, looks like something different for each and every individual. Your purpose for writing, this is why I'm here. If you don't yet know it, I hope you find it. If you have an idea, I hope you can affirm it. And if you already have it, awesome, then let's celebrate it. So there could be layers to your purpose. Yes, we want recognition. Yes, maybe it's for our business. There might be many logical reasons for a book, and all that feeds into purpose. I'm not saying they're right or wrong, but what I'm going to ask is for you to think about and consider your individual underlying desire and need that you cannot ignore, that won't let you go. And the inspiration is the fuel for the purpose, and the purpose fuels your inspiration. So they go together. You don't have to impose anything. You don't need a 4-hour block of time on a windy night with the candle and, you know, some music or something to conjure the inspiration. Every time when you sit to write, if you're able to really just make room for your purpose and connect with that purpose and have a conversation with that purpose, things just open up. Now, I want to say, I'm asking us and myself and you to rethink how we've thought about writing. The origin of the writing isn't coming from the expectation of what we have to get done or the words we have to get on a page. It's different. If we're in our purpose with our writing, and if we're in that need to express and to get clarity and to find our way through to see this thing until it's complete, right? That takes courage. That takes willingness. It takes compassion for yourself, and it definitely takes purpose. So the people that I know that have finished books that struggled in the beginning went from having what they thought was the purpose, but were more reasons. And then what we did was we worked through to get them to that place of purpose. So for me, I can only give you my own example of my own experience. When I was working on this book right here, I had a very clear purpose. My purpose, the reasons, I'll show you how the differences are. The reasons were, I thought I wanted to help people at midlife have some understanding and feel less alone about all of the questions that come up, those existential questions that come up in midlife. And I thought I would be able to serve people and help people. And that's a great reason. But the purpose, what kept me going was the idea that I really wanted to have a deep conversation with myself. I felt like, of all the things I've given in my life, all the work that I had done for other people, all the things that I've provided, that I was at least worth getting to know. And so that became my purpose. And it may sound corny, but simple, straightforward, I was worth getting to know. And that was the purpose that actually helped me stay true and finish that book. And it was amazing. It was amazing. I felt so fulfilled and so complete and no regrets. Not a single one. No bad tattoos on my forearms. When I was done with that book, I was so complete. And so at that point, it didn't matter who read it. It didn't matter how many books it sold. It didn't matter if, it got me speaking gigs. I mean, sure, I wanted those things. I did want to touch other people, but it had nothing to do, zero, nothing to do with the writing of the book. The reasons were the outcomes. The purpose was the process, if that makes sense. So reasons were the outcome. The purpose was the process. And so I want to ask you a couple of questions. How would you feel if you never completed this book or reached this dream? How would you feel if you didn't complete this book? What are the things that you deeply care about as a human being, doing your best in this world, trying to find meaning, trying to connect, trying to love, trying to deal with grief, trying to survive, trying to find new ways, make new discoveries? But what is it that you care about that represents who you are in your book? Because that connects to purpose. So what are the things that you care about as a human that represent who you are in the book? And the third question that helps with purpose is, what would finishing your book provide you or give you, even if not a single person bought a copy? What would finishing your book provide you or give you, even if not a single person bought a copy? Those are the things, those answers really help clarify and connect you to what I'm describing as purpose. And since I'm going to be reading the comments in the chat later, I'm just curious, do you understand what I'm talking about when I share the idea of purpose versus reason? Does it make sense or does it not make sense? So in the chat, which I'm going to read later, just put yes, reason versus purpose makes sense. No, reason versus purpose does not, because I just wonder how that lands for everybody. So that's not to say that recognition and financial gain aren't worthy of purpose. But here's the last thing I want to say about purpose. We have no control over those elements. We have no control over how many people will buy our book. We have no control over if it helps our business. We have no control over if people like it or don't like it. So the purpose is the element that remains internally true and knowable, apart from the elements that we have no control over. So purpose is the element that internally remains true and knowable, apart from any of the elements that we cannot control. So, Andre, I think this is a good time right now. I would love to bring you on. And let's talk about, there you are. Let's talk about, you wrote an article about writing with no purpose, which it just occurred to me when I was talking that you came to a retreat in Santa Fe and we talked a lot about purpose. So based on what I shared, what do you think about the idea of writing without purpose or writing with purpose? And what do you get with the idea of how important purpose is for writing?
Well, yeah. So, I mean, it's funny. I did notice a couple of comments that came through. Somebody was asking about writer's block, and it was as you were talking about purpose. And the question is, if no one were to buy or read your book, how would that change how you feel about what you wrote? And I thought that was really a powerful place to sort of land when I was thinking about this idea of writer's block, which is, if you sort of shed all of those expectations, which, you've also talked about, and really get to what this means for you, I think then all of a sudden, all those blocks can disappear, or at least you can find your way through them. And that was, the post that you're referring to about writing without purpose was something along those lines, just trying to like find the joy in just the not even just the process, but in the act of writing and
Right?
and connecting with your idea and with yourself. And to your point about the invitation to have a conversation with yourself, all of those things to me really speak to that idea that if you're really just connected to the purpose of your writing and the core of what it is that you're trying to sort of elicit from yourself, the blocks go away and it'll just flow.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. And I've seen you come a long way in your own path. And so what I want to say, and we're going to come back to Andre in a moment to talk about Book Baby, but I want to close this just this loop for a moment. And Andre, I'm going to remove you from the spotlight for a moment and we'll come back to you. And thanks for that. Here's what I really want you to know. Do the thing with your writing that you can't not do, right? That's the purpose. Your words, your expression, your unique wisdom deserve being seen through. You really deserve that for yourself, like not in the selfish way or look at me way, but we learn so much when we make room for ourselves and our conversations through writing, that so much comes from the discovery in the process and in the path, that by the time we've reached some pinnacle or some endpoint or some completion, we've given ourselves everything that we needed at this point in our life. Because, life can be, we all know how overwhelming it is, how consuming it can be with social media and cat videos and war and diet pill commercials. And, there's just so much stuff. It's like unbelievably overwhelming. But to me, the writing, when I write in this way, centers me with my deepest understanding of why I'm here in this moment as a skin onesie, as I call it, doing my best, trying to understand, trying to find love, trying to cope with grief, trying to find truth and meaning, trying to evolve, trying to connect with people and myself. So the process, the writing, the exploration, the conversation gives you all of those things that we seek as a human being. So I just want to say, I've seen the process of how people blossom and gain so much confidence in their lives. I have transformed lives, or I should say, lives have transformed, and I've seen it through the power of this work because of purpose. I've seen things, unbelievable magic of what occurs through completion. Purpose is the difference between those who finish and those who don't. That has been my experience. There's a lot of other reasons, but those become the things that the through line that pulls somebody to keep going and to keep finishing and to keep trudging away. And so figure out why you're stuck. And I've got articles about that and classes, and I got all kinds of things, but you might have some ideas. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some of the book baby capacities. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer some ways you can stay in touch with me, continue to work with me if you want. Not a sales pitch at all. I'm just putting the stuff out there. There are ways if you want to have a conversation with me. I love what I do. I would love to help you. I'm great at what I do because I love it so much. Help you get unstuck. And there are ways you can stay engaged, not a sales pitch, and if you want. So what we're going to do is I'm going to bring Andre back on. Then I'm going to talk about the ways you can stay engaged with me. There's classes, there's one-on-one, and I have a link for some free articles that if you want to stay motivated and connected for yourself. And then the last question before I bring Andre on, and I would love it if you could put this in the chat because I'm going to read this later, is what is one thing that we've talked about so far, that I've talked about so far, one thing that you can take away from today that's going to be meaningful for you? Because it's great to be on a webinar and it's great to get the inspiration, but what's one thing that you can do or you will take away or that will stay with you that will help you actually make progress and move forward even an inch? So now I'm going to bring Andre back on, and we are going to talk about BookBaby has such a plethora of resources, and whether you use their services or not, they were my starting point for getting lots of really good information about how to self-publish, why to self-publish, where to self-publish. And I'm just going to say, I'm not affiliated with BookBaby as an employee or anything. We're just good friends, and I'm a fan. The thing about BookBaby, which I loved, is there was always somebody to talk to when I had questions. Now, I've worked with a lot of authors who have worked with other self-publishing companies, and you are relegated to email hell if you're even going to get a response. So with BookBaby, I always had somebody to talk to, and that meant a lot to me because it was my heart, my soul, my effort, and my energy. And BookBaby, to me, is a company that really cares about making writers become authors, and I experienced that myself. So go ahead, Andre.
What else do I need to say after that? So yeah, thank you, Janna, and thanks everybody for being here today. I did see a question come up about whether we were going to talk about the production or the publishing process, and I guess I just wanted to say, like, that really wasn't the purpose of this webinar. This was really more about the creative side, and I got to say, that's one of the things I love about BookBaby. I mean, we are a production facility. We do have a print shop. I mean, we print our own books and produce the books in our plant in New Jersey. But it's our community of people who work there, and certainly our author community that really is the heartbeat of our operation. And it's events like this where we try to, foster this community and answer the questions to our community. And that's certainly what I feel great about being able to be the manager and the editor of the BookBaby blog, because that's entirely committed to trying to help authors and writers navigate the creative process, the production process, the publishing process, the book promotion process. So, we've got the blog. I very much encourage you to go and check that out if you haven't already. There's a ton of blog posts about all sorts of different topics that relate to self-publishing. We've got a great YouTube channel where there's also a lot of great videos. In fact, and another question was whether this was going to be available. So absolutely, we're going to post this webinar on the BookBaby YouTube channel. If you haven't already seen them, there's 2 other of Janna's webinars that are already archived there. So I encourage you to go check that out as well. Our website's also very comprehensive if you've got questions about the publishing process. And to Janna's point, if you have questions specific about, the publishing your own book, our publishing specialists are here to answer your questions, and they know everything that you need to know. And you can call. I think that's one of the things that sets us apart too, is that we are a very enthusiastic and committed and artistic group that sort of make BookBaby. So we're here to talk to you and help you and answer your questions. And I think we also have a plethora of resources online that can also do the same thing.
Thank you. Go ahead.
One last thing. So we are going to shoot out an email after this, probably within the next week, that'll link you to the video once this is up online. And in that, you'll also get a $100 coupon, good to take $100 off of our book cover design service. So when you have found your purpose and you've finished your book and you're ready to publish, we'll be here to help get your printed book across the finish line, and you can get $100 off of our book cover design service in the process.
Thank you. So I am looking at some of these comments now. I told myself I wasn't going to do it till the end, and I just couldn't help myself. But I want to acknowledge that I'm so happy so many of you shared that the difference between reason and purpose is one of your takeaways. And if that's all you get out of this, if you can start to shift into a place of purpose, I feel like I've won today. I really do feel like I've won. Yeah. So yeah, the story about time, Janna, what a cool name. I bet everybody calls you Janna Banana. I know they call me that. Yeah, the story about time is a true story. And you know how many people I work with that are in these places of just wanting to give themselves that gift, or their kids or whatever. And then, 2 things are true. We want more time. We're not getting more time. That's it. There it is. So to address that thing about time specifically is, I usually just say the blocks of time don't exist, because something will come up, life will come up, things change. So 5 minutes with coffee or tea in the morning. And one of the things I've created, again, not a sales pitch, something to help the writers that I've worked with and that have helped me, but I created these cards. They're invitation cards. There's 3 decks, and each deck has 33 cards. And what I tell people is just to, if they get the cards, 5 minutes in the morning, pick a card and, just write. And just write. And doing this every day really has made a difference. So the cards have a photo on the front. On the back is a word and a little drawing. And there's nothing that connects the photo to the back with the drawing unless you make the connection. What I love about this is you don't have to think about what you need to do. You don't have to set anything up. There's no system. There's no outside expectation. And it's literally 5 minutes in the morning with the cards. So people that are writing fiction love these because it helps with character development. And each deck deals with something specific. This is the spiritual places you might get stuck, the emotional places you might get stuck. And these have my teachings on the back, all the things that I talk about and the things. So if you get stuck in your head and you're just completely, this one's judgment, you can just pick a card and address your mind and get free and just write. So this is a no-brainer, easy access, 5 minutes in the morning. So people that tell me that don't have time, I'm like, coffee or tea, you can just pick a card. And even if you don't use my cards, find somebody's cards. But I love my cards. I took all the pictures. And look, a little pig with a plant and a peg leg. Come on. That's so, That's just made for inviting yourself to write. What is that about? So, and then look, the card on there, wasted time. So this comes with a video course, 5 videos, and this talks about specifically why we get stuck and procrastinate. So the video course, the cards, it comes with a 20-page booklet, and this deals with procrastination for everybody who says they don't have more time. $97 for the all thing, the video, the cards, and I'm going to put the links in for people that are interested in, and if it's not these cards, find something 5 minutes in the morning or 5 minutes before you go to bed. There's your time. Wake up 5 minutes earlier if you don't have the extra 5 minutes. Give yourself the time. Easy, breezy, peasy, little ins and outs makes a difference in staying connected to your conversation. The second way you can hang out with me is I'm going to have a 4-week class that starts on Tuesdays in November live. And I'll be offering coaching, and I'll answer your questions and conversations, and we're going to write in real time. And people that come to the class this 4 weeks completely transforms their writing situation. And so that's, and that whole thing with the class, 4 weeks, comes with the cards and the video course. And that's for people who want to work with me one-on-one. I love connecting with people in class in that way because I can see you, we can talk, and we can hang out. So that one was the second way you can stay engaged. $297. You get the cards, the video course, and 4 weeks of real time. And let me tell you, it's November, NaNoWriMo. So if you're in the midst of NaNoWriMo and you want motivation, take the class. Let's do it. I'll help you. I totally would love to help you see that through. The class on Tuesdays is 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern. And in the link that's there, it will tell you that. But if you're interested, let me know. The last way, take it or leave it, not a sales pitch. If you're interested, I offer, the last package is the whole kit and caboodle. You'll get 2 private psychically guided writing sessions with me. And what I'll do is help you blueprint your project. So the first session, we're going to talk about why you're stuck. I will help you get unstuck. And the second session, we're going to create a plan for you to finish your book. And that whole kit and caboodle comes with the one-on-one sessions, 2 of them, comes with the 4-week class, and comes with the writing decks and the video course. So that is the 3 ways. So whoever signs up, the first 10 people that sign up, I'm going to give a free 30-minute session, because that means you're motivated and you're in it to win it. And that would be great. And the only other thing I want to add is if you're interested in a worksheet about helping you find purpose, I'm just going to give that to you free. If you're interested, put yes, I want the worksheet. Yes, I want the worksheets, because then with the worksheet, you can help yourself answer some of these questions. And I want you to be able to help yourself answer these questions. It makes me feel so amazing. And I will send you the worksheet, and because I have all of your emails from your registration, so I'll make sure you get it. And then if you're interested in any of the other things, the cards for your morning hanging out, or you want to take a class, or you want some one-on-one time with me, then I'm here. And if it's not your time and these are not your tools, that's totally okay. It's totally okay. My passion is really just to help you connect to yourself. And that's what I think this is about. There's a million methods out there. I'm not interested in telling you how to write a bestseller in 30 days. That's not who I am. There's plenty of those things. I'm interested in helping you have a meaningful, engaged, successful, process, and so that your writing really does connect with you and you finish. So what I'm going to do now is, I see some of you have put the information about the wanting a worksheet. So yes, I will go through each and every comment, and I can't wait to hear what you each got out of this. If you posted your one thing that you got out of this, I really care about helping you see this through, and we need as much inspiration and support and connection as we can get. And I tell you, once you start to unlearn a little bit, make room, figure out what keeps you stuck, and find your purpose, I have confidence. I have 100% confidence that you are all going to get in there. And I want you to see this through. I really want you to see this through, whatever it means, whatever it takes. So I'm going to now try to answer some questions a little bit, and again, if I don't get to your question, I apologize, but I will through email. So I'm glad you enjoyed the webinar, Christina. I'm really, really glad that you were here and that the information was something that was meaningful to you. I can't wait to hear how it progresses for you. You're welcome, Janet. Hi, James. Yes, you're welcome for the time and the information. We will connect you to BookBaby, Charmaine. We will make sure you get connected to BookBaby. And Anne Louise, what a beautiful name. Anne Louise, the difference between reason and purpose really struck a chord. Good. I'm so happy to hear that. That's great. Peg said that she got out of this the reason you haven't been able to start. I was asking myself the wrong question, wasn't getting a good answer. Now I can move. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, it's such a important difference. It makes such a impact in really how we relate to our own conversations. You're welcome, Frank. I'm so glad you were here. You're so welcome. And let's see. I'm still going through. There's so many comments, and thank you for sharing your time and your comments. Thanks, Gina. She thanked you too, Andre. She said, thank you, Janna and Andre. Gina's glad she took the time today. Yes, you too have a wonderful day. You too have a wonderful day. Let's see. So, Andre, what did you get out of today while I'm going through some of these?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a lot of what I'd already said, and I think it's really pretty excellent. It's kind of funny. I think now we could have renamed this the difference between reason and purpose, because I think that was really sort of what a lot of people got from this, and I'd say that that is true for me as well. I'd never really made that distinction, certainly not semantically, between those two ideas as it relates to writing. So I guess I'll jump on that boat and say that the difference between reason and purpose was really the takeaway for me today.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I'm really loving hearing all of the feedback and all of the questions. And Hal is in agreement. Hal says, I never thought about separating my reasons from writing from my purpose. Thinking about it, the distinction is suddenly evident. I believe understanding my purpose in writing will help me drive to completion of some of my projects. Good. Where are you from, Hal? I'm just curious. And thank you for your thoughtful feedback. I would love to know where you're from, Hal. And Alberto from Mexico, I'm glad you were here again. And he says, thanks for the great motivation and encouragement. And for Andre, great to meet someone from BookBaby.
We're all real people here, I promise you.
I know, I know. Hal's from Thousand Oaks. Okay, and I am in Santa Fe, New Mexico. So I'm going to have a writing retreat in March and one in June. So if anybody's interested in coming to Santa Fe, New Mexico, it is gorgeous. And
I can vouch for that too.
yes, the retreats. Maybe you'll be at that one.
Mhm.
Now that we're on an annual trajectory. So yes, I did offer the worksheet about purpose, and people are still chiming in. So if you didn't hear, I am offering that to anybody who asks. I'm happy to send you that worksheet to help you identify the purpose. We have somebody from Greece. Hello, beautiful. I can't wait to make it to Greece sometimes.
And
Frank,
Sandy, by the way, I'm sorry, I'm seeing Sandy is asking specifically about the email. I'd say it's going to come out early next week. You should get an email from us with the link to the video and the offers from BookBaby. So sit tight, it'll be just a few days.
hey, James is in Santa Fe. I will give you the information on the March workshop. Yes, yes. Aren't we lucky to live in Santa Fe? It's just so beautiful here. There's something about the landscape and the space and energy that is unlike anywhere else. And hello, Dawn in Tampa. And Deborah says she wrote a series of 4 books, 2 professionally edited, now working on the last 2. NaNoWriMo is a quick project and respite. Yeah, I would say that the NaNoWriMo, do the best you can. Really just do the best you can. It's a high expectation. And I had something I was going to share, but I couldn't share my screen. But it's this really great drawing of a guy who's in space, and he's like, reach for the stars. And, if you don't reach them, you'll end up, and then he's down there. It's like suffocating. It was kind of funny. So I will send that too. Sydney, Australia. Yes, the replay is available for sure. And yes, so I did post my web address, but the comments are going so quickly. So it's janna-lopez.com. If you just do jannalopez.com, it will still go to my other website. I'm in the process of transitioning them. I got my MFA at a very amazing program called, it was Pacific Northwest College of Art. And I was part of a first year cohort, low residency program. And the program was based on writing as a means of social justice and equality and cultural currency. And so it was a very innovative program. It's now under Willamette University, but I had the best time in my MFA program. So if anybody's interested in a really amazing low residency creative writing program, I would suggest looking up the Pacific Northwest College of Art. Jay Ponteri is the director, and tell him that I sent you. Amazing. One of the best things I ever did. And I did not get my master's until I was 52. Total late bloomer. I was a high school dropout and didn't even get my undergrad until I was like 49. So just to tell you, it's here the high school dropout is Santa Fe Poet Laureate. Oh, cracks me up. Janna, let's see. How often do you attend writers' conferences? I attend if I'm presenting. Sometimes people want me to come and present because the way I teach is not in the mainstream, I guess, for lack of a better term. And I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but the people who I am for, I'm really, really super effective. I really believe that writing is part of a conversation that we have with ourselves. Writing is the invitation that we can provide, not the expectation. And so I'm kind of antithetical to the way most people teach. I'm not going to tell you you have to sit and do morning pages every day. I don't believe that is inspiring. I don't believe that being told how to write or the ways to write is actually effective. So yeah, I have a whole teaching thing. My next book is Writing Freedom Forever, and it's going to be out in, I don't know, maybe 4 months or so. And it's about everything I teach. And that's where the cards, I love these cards because it's all my little tidbits of all the things I teach and talk about that are different. And people find tremendous success once they're on a path of unlearning what they've learned about writing. I wish writing would be taught a little bit differently in school. It kind of, my opinion, that's just my opinion. It makes it really hard for people to know. So anything else? Alberto wants to know thoughts about short stories. I love short stories. I love, 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 love short stories. Yeah, I definitely love short stories. So yeah, I'm just going to let the comments flow for just a couple more minutes, and we're going to come closer towards wrapping up, but I don't want to cut anybody off from including the comments. I really have enjoyed this today, and I've enjoyed you and your questions. And I will post again on the comments. There's some links. The BookBaby blog, the first link is all of the articles that I've written. That's a free resource that talks a lot about my philosophy of invitations and not expectations. And then there's the 3 offerings for the cards and the 4-week live class and the one-on-one coaching. So yeah, making sure everybody answers. You're welcome, George. You're welcome, William. You're welcome, Deborah. I'm glad it was inspiring. Yes, I have read America's Best Short Stories yearly books. You're welcome, Alberto. You're welcome. Have a wonderful day, Karen. I'm glad you're thankful, Don. I am too. And we will go through these comments. Thank you, Robin, for the compliment. I really, really appreciate that. My teaching approach, it's hard because I'm definitely, sometimes I'm the lone wolf out there. I'm the antithetical teacher talking about creativity as a form of expression and not as an expectation. And people just look at me very confused sometimes. All right, so what we're going to do is follow up with everyone. You'll get an email from me that will have my specific things, and then you'll get an email from BookBaby that has the link to the webinar. You'll probably get something back from Zoom too. They're going to automatically send you an email. So yeah, we'll follow up. I hope to see some of you in real life in my class that starts next Tuesday, especially if you're doing NaNoWriMo, because I would love to be able to have a 2-way conversation and not just the conversation with myself as I look at myself and my background of all the stuff that's in beautiful Santa Fe in my house. But hopefully we'll have a chance. I'd love to meet you and work with you and help you find your purpose. All right, so I guess that's it. I think we're gonna close the chat. So got any last minute comments you want me to read, any way you want me to get a hold of you, any way you're interested in staying in touch with me, Now's
And
the,
NaNoWriMo, can I just answer that really quickly
yes, go
since
ahead,
somebody
yeah,
asked
yeah.
this? So NaNoWriMo, it stands for National, oh my goodness, National Novel Writing Month. And the idea is that you take the challenge to try to write a 50,000 word novel piece over the course of the month of November. So today was the official kickoff. It's not affiliated with BookBaby, though. We are a sponsor, one of many sponsors of it. It's been around for a number of years. So anyway, it's sort of a incentive to writers to try to knock out a novel in 30 days. Hey, I did it. I mean, it worked for me.
I know. Listen, it works. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. I am an equal opportunity procrastinator on all fronts. Trust me. I really am. So I want to make sure that I'm going to export this text chat. Wow, so many comments. All right, they're the links for all the things. You're welcome, Marianne. Oh my God, I'm blanking on her name. Her mother.
Lucy.
Was Lucy's mom here?
I don't know.
Oh,
We'll have to scan your comments to see.
yeah.
I'll ask Lucy tomorrow.
I know, I love Lucy's mom. I haven't even met her, but I love Lucy's mom. And yes, Sheila, I will definitely be in touch. It would be great if you could take the class. Thank you. I'm a wonderful presenter. I try. I mean, I just try to be myself, and people. Thank you for the compliment, though. It is nerve-wracking because I'm used to seeing people in a classroom setting. I'm used to interacting. So just looking at myself and talking to you is a little weird, but I appreciate the compliment. I really do. All right. So we are going to sign off, and thank you for your comments, and have a wonderful night. And I look forward to working with you. I do. I really do. I can't wait. Okay, before I leave, there's just one more. Angela said, you give me hope. That's so good. I want you to have hope. You deserve that hope. We need this hope. Hope is what we need in our life, with our writing, with ourself, with our expression. And that is the one place that we can count on providing ourselves hope. We definitely can provide ourselves hope. We are the one thing we can count on in that way. We really are, if we give ourselves that chance. So anyway, let me get up to the top of these chats. I can't believe how many comments. You guys are so engaged, and I love it. Thank you so much. So I'm going to make sure that we export this, and yeah, save chat. Here we go. I'm going to have a lot of reading to do. All right, you guys, thank you for being with me. Thanks for sharing your spirit and your hopes and your wishes, and we will see you soon. Bye, Andre.
Bye, Janna.